Welcome to my channel. My name is Shani and this is Shani's story time. If this is your first time here, and it probably is, go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe. But let me just introduce myself a little bit. Like I said before, my name is Shani. I'm a mom, I'm a nurse. I'm also from the Caribbean. If you can guess which island, go ahead and put it in the comments below. And I will tell you if you're right or not. You could probably tell. If you're listening closely, you could hear my accent. It's there somewhere. It pops up. Anyway, this channel is going to be about me telling stories about my life. They will all be real stories, nothing made up. I mean, I could make something up, but I have so many stories that it's really no point or time to even make anything up. So if you want to hear all my stories and be a part of the Shani story time, give me a like and a subscribe. Now let's get into it. So my first story I'm going to tell you will be about how I don't know about a sad story. It's really about how my mom gave me away when I was 3. Yeah, maybe it was 2, but I remember being 3 when it happened. So, a little bit of backstory. I lived with my mother. It was just me and her, basically. Me and my mom. We lived in this 1-bedroom apartment. It was actually, the house was a side-by-side duplex from what I remember. It was a side-by-side duplex. She lived in one side. It was a 1-bedroom. It had a bathroom. It had a kitchen. And it had a living room, and it had a backyard, which I didn't really spend any much time out there, and it had a porch, right? Did it? Yeah, it had a porch. It did. All right, so yeah, it was just me and my mom. We lived together. That's all I knew, me and my mom. My mother worked 6 days a week. She worked Monday through Saturdays, all day long. So my routine was basically Monday through Friday. She gets up, she gets me ready, we hop on the bus, she drops me off at school. I'm at school all day. She works really late, so I'm usually the last child to get picked up, from what I remember. Almost every day I would be the last kid to get picked up from school. I think I remember one instant when there was another little kid there who one day I got picked up early. Not early, I got picked up the second to last child. So there was still one child left, but almost every single day, I was the last child to be picked up every day. Then on Saturdays, there's no school, but my mother still had to go to work. So on Saturdays, she would take me over to her brother's house, and her brother worked on cars in the yard. In the house that he lived in, it wasn't really his house. He was renting a room in that house. And he also did his work because he by trade, he fixed cars. Like, he works on cars by trade. So he had like a little shop in that yard, like in the front of the yard, and he works on cars, him and like his friends. But he really do fix cars. So she would take me over there for him to babysit me, only he was working on cars all day. So how was he gonna babysit me? But his girlfriend did. So his girlfriend was really the one who took care of me on Saturdays while my mother was at work. And then on Sundays, my mother was home. We didn't do anything. So my mother, basically Sunday was her day that she did all her washing, she did all her cleaning, she did her cooking, she made sure everything was done. That's the day she did everything. And I was just there. Now on holidays, and we lived in the city at that time. We lived in the city. And on holidays, I remember we would go to my grandparents' house for holidays, like say for like Christmas and stuff. She would always take me to my grandparents' house. And at my grandparents' house lived her sister. Her older sister lived there, and she had 4 kids. All 4 of them are older than me. She had a daughter and like 3 sons. So the daughter, at the time when I would go, she wasn't really living there. She was always away at boarding school. She was much older. She was the oldest of all the 4 kids. So she was always away at boarding school. And then, so it was the 3 boys, but one of the 3 boys didn't live there. He lived with his father's family. So that just leaves my 2 cousins. It was Me and my two cousins that were usually at the house for the most part. But when holiday time comes around, everybody's there. So it's my grandparents, my aunt, my cousins. And my mother would take me there on holidays. So if you think Easter, she'll take me there. If it's like Christmas, she'll take me there. Sometime in the summer, I will go there. So I'm always there with them. And every time I'm there, I'm always hanging out. We have a great time. Yada, yada, yada. It's always fun. And then I'll go back to the city with my mother. And the whole cycle starts over again. Monday through Friday, we wake up early. She gets me ready. She takes me to school. She goes to work. And then she picks me up. I'm the last one to get picked up. On Saturdays, she drives it over to her brother's house. He was too busy to take care of me, but his girlfriend took care of me. She babysit me all day. My mother will be at work all day long. And then she'll come pick me up. Sunday, it's her reset day. She does all the laundry, the cleaning, washing, everything. And it wasn't a situation where it's like washing machine. She had to like wash all our clothes by hands, hang them outside in the line to dry. She had to iron her clothes for work for the week. I don't think I wear a uniform at the time, actually. I have kids and they're like knocking on my door when I'm trying to tell my story. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't end. Oh my gosh. See my life, what I'm telling you about? Okay, anyway, right? I don't remember where I was at. But anyway, we were on Sundays, yeah. She doesn't have washing machine and stuff like that. Everything was hand washed. So she did all her cleaning by herself. Yada, 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 yada. Then one day, my aunt came. Oh, I forgot to mention this. My grandparents, even though we lived in the city, my grandparents lived in the country. So did my aunt and my cousin. They all lived in the country. And that's where we would spend our holidays, basically. And then there was one day, my aunt came for the weekend. I guess she had something to take care of, like in the city. She came to take care of some business in the city. I don't know what it was. But she was there and she stayed with us while she was there. So I think she came on like Friday night or something like that. She wouldn't have come on a Saturday because my family on my mother's side, they're Seventh-day Adventists. So she probably wouldn't have come on a Saturday because certain things Seventh-day Adventist people just don't do on a Saturday. Well, when I was young, they just don't. I know now things have changed a bit, but there's the certain things. They don't shop, they don't spend money on the Sabbath. A lot of things they just don't do on the Sabbath. So I'm pretty sure she came probably from the Friday. I don't remember what day she came, but I could tell you what day she left. She left on a Tuesday. Nope, no, she didn't. She left Monday. And I'm going to tell you how. All right, so she was here for the weekend. She had something to do on Monday in the city, so that's why she came, and she stayed with my mother. So while she was visiting us and she was staying with us, I went to her and I said to her, "Hey, Auntie, when you go back to the country, can I come with you?" And she said, "Yes." So then I asked my mother, "Hey, I asked Auntie if I could go back with her to the country, and she said yes. Can I go?" My mother said yes. Right? So now I'm all excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go and live with my cousins. It's gonna be so much fun. We're gonna play every day, and it's gonna be fantastic. In my mind, that's what I'm thinking, right? That's what I'm thinking. So the whole weekend, I'm happy because I'm gonna be going back to the country. I'm going back to the country. And so I'm excited all weekend. So Monday morning comes. My mother's still following her same routine that we normally do, getting ready for school, getting ready for work. And I said to my mother, "But hey, why are you getting me ready for school? I'm going back with Auntie. I'm gonna go." Mind you, I was 3 years old. I forgot to mention that. At this point, I was 3 years old. And I could have been 2.5, but I'm gonna say I was 3. And I'm saying to her, like, my mom, like, "Why are you getting me dressed for school? I'm not going to school. I'm moving back to live with my aunt." And they were like, "Oh, no. She's gonna take you once you get home from school." And that's when it hit me. That's when it hit me that they were lying. They had no intention of me going back to live with her. None. They just told me that to shut me the up. Okay? That's why they told me that. They had no plan. There was never any real intention of letting me go to go live with my aunt. So they're like, oh, no, no. Auntie has to go do something. And then after school, when you come home, she'll take you back home with her later. So I, at that point, knew they were lying. I thought they were telling the truth before, but at this point, I knew they were lying. And I started crying. I cried all the way to school, the entire way to school. I spent mostly all day crying all day in school. When I came home, when my mother came to pick me up, I said, where's Auntie? She's like, oh, she went home. She will see her on the weekend. And I just knew my mother was lying. Like, my 3-year-old self just knew she was lying. Like, seriously, she was straight up lying. So I didn't believe anything she said. And I just cried. I cried. I think eventually I stopped crying because she kept telling me that I'll take you on the weekend. I'll take you on the weekend. I'll take you on the weekend. I have to work. I'll take you on the weekend. So I kind of halfway settled with that excuse for a little bit till the weekend came, and I realized, okay, nothing happened on the weekend. She didn't take me on the weekend. So from that moment on, every single day, I cried every day. Every day that I can remember, I cried tears for my mother to take me to go live with my aunt and my cousins. Every single day. Every day. And this went on for a while. So I think eventually, I don't know or remember how many days, weeks, or months passed to the point where she got fed up. I don't know if she got fed up or she just had enough. I don't really know what the thought process was for her. I can't tell you. I remember having a vague conversation with her recently about it, but I can't tell you how many time passed since she came home from one day. We got home, I think it was like probably a Friday night, or it might have been a Friday night, honestly, where she came home. I remember we went to the store a little bit to buy some stuff, and then she combed my hair. I remember her combing my hair, and I had like a little jar, probably those little jar that you put like the hair grease comes in, like, people of color, they like use grease on their scalp, that little jar that grease comes in. So I had a little jar like that filled with like barrettes and stuff for your hair. She put every single barrette I owned. She combed my hair and she put every single barrette. I remember that barrette can was empty. She combed my hair and put every single one of them in my hair, and it was late at night. And I remember she packed my stuff up and we got on the bus. We drove, because it was a long drive on the bus, and then I got to my aunt's house, and she left the next day. She left the next day, and I don't remember crying that she left. I didn't cry. I remember being happy that she left me there. And in a little bit, I mean, I was mostly happy, but at the same time, I was still a little bit sad, because I was like, is she going to come back and take me away? Is she going to come back and take me away? So I was always on edge, like, okay, I'm only going to be here for a little bit. She's going to come back and take me back to the city with her. She just brought me here because I was crying, and she just wanted me to stop. So she's going to bring me here for a little bit and then bring me back home to the city with her. And so at one end, I was happy that I was there, that she took me there, and then she left me there. But at the same time, I was still a little bit on edge, because I was like, okay, she's not going to really leave me here. She's going to come back and get me. And I don't want her to come back and get me. Is she going to come back and get me? She never came back and got me. Okay, till this day, she has not come back to get me. All right, it's been years. She still has not returned to get me. All right, it sounds kind of sad, but I'm not sad about it. But I'm just saying, she never came back to get me. I ended up staying with my aunt for the next few years. I got enrolled in school, and that became my home. So, yeah, I know the story. I said that my mother gave me away. technically she didn't. I mean, she did and she didn't. She did and she didn't. What do you think? Did she give me away? Because I cried to go. I cried every day. I mean, can you imagine having a child, your 3-year-old child, crying to go live with someone else, and they're crying every single day to go live with someone else? And what do? Eventually, you give in. All right. So I had asked my mother about this. So you know what? I know this video is getting kind of long, so subscribe, like, and subscribe, and come back, and I'll do a part 2. Because I did have a conversation with my mother about this recently to help fill in some of the gaps for me. Because remember, this happened when I was 3 years old. And this is my memory. This is not something that someone told me. Everything that I just told you is what I remember from my point of view. So you know there's 2 sides to a story. Some people say there's 3 sides to a story. This is my side. And I did ask my mother recently her side. And she did explain to me a little bit, and it kind of helped. It didn't fully, I guess it did. I guess she did kind of explain it enough for me to understand. But again, I was 3. And did she give me away, or did she just give into the demands of a 3-year-old who she thought maybe was unhappy and wanted to go, or is it some other reason? There are some other reasons, and I will tell you that in part 2. So come back. If you watch this video till the end, like and subscribe. I will do a part 2 to kind of summarize my mother's point of view and what she had to say about it. All right. See you in the next video. Come back for part 2. Bye. And thanks for watching. Love you.